Alrighty, guys. Thank you for watching. I need to also make you aware of something. There is a scammer going around using my name. Somehow YouTube has let them put the exact same name as this channel name. Although when you go and you click into the at portion, it's different. Or when you look at what you would send, like if you're sharing a link to my channel, that's obviously different. And they don't have any content, they don't have any videos. I just need to double down and make sure you're aware they do not have any association with the channel. They are trying to scam you and solicit money for orphans according to the messages that they're sending. I have no such fundraisers or any such things planned currently as far as that goes. So please report them immediately, report the account, and if you happen to have given money to this individual, make sure to report that to your financial institution so that they can crack down and hopefully prevent others from being scammed. All right, that being said, let's kick into the video. This was a conversation that I had on Clubhouse with a Muslim apologist named Omar. Now, Omar wanted to defend the Quran. Now, you'll see within this that he'll make statements where I'm criticizing that there are different Qurans that people say recitations or different dialects or different modes. I prefer the term mode because dialect lets them get away with too much. Recitation lets them get away with too much because then they can claim, hey, we're just saying the same thing, slightly different. But there are completely different words in certain versions of the Quran. And so if you read one, it has a different word and the other one has this other word. And then in several cases, they conflict. Like one might be like pointing to you or one might be pointing to me. And depending on that, that can give you a very big difference within the message.
Why do you particularly believe that Muhammad was a false prophet, though? What makes you think that?
So there's several interesting points that I would say lead me to that conclusion. I could hit just a few of them because if I machine gun fire them, then you're not going to have a chance to respond, and I don't think that's fair. So initially, I'll give you one that's kind of a common apologetic approach. When you look at the Quran doesn't have a proper conception of what the Christians believe. And the Quran has a challenge in it as well that says, produce a book or a work like this. And if you can present 3 lines like this, then the Quran's false. And so my issue, though, and my thought
Wait, could
is
you
this.
provide the chapter in the Quran that makes that particular claim that you said?
Yeah,
Produce 3 lines like it. You said.
have you even heard of the Quranic
I know
challenge?
that. I don't believe that's what the verse says verbatim. I want to know what the verse says verbatim.
I don't have the verse right up to me, but so the
Hmm.
way it gets explained, and anybody can Google this. I think it says the final outcome is if you can produce even 3 verses like this, 3 lines, then you have defeated the Quran. You have made it identical. But they say that everybody who's tried this has failed. Now, my issue though is that the Quran is not just recording the words of God. The Quran is recording conversations that individuals have. Well, there's nothing special about a conversation that an individual has. So if you create a fictitious conversation of Joseph having another conversation in the jail about how Allah is one, like he did with the guy before he revealed the dreams in the Quran to him, you've already beat the Quranic challenge. Now the issue though is that they moved the goalpost and they say, well, no, that doesn't work. It's linguistic style. It's all this, but then you start looking into what is the linguistic style of the Quran, and you find out that it's 7 modes, that it's not like one formalized written Quran. So there's a lot of things that just start pulling apart the miracle of the Quran.
Wait, what do you
That
mean?
makes it.
There's multiple Qurans.
Are you aware there's 7 modes of the
There
Quran?
are 7. What's it called? Hafs. So meaning seven different ways to recite it, but
If
because
you
the
go
Arabic
and
language is very diverse and very rich, and
if you go look those up, those actual Qurans that we're talking about are different.
they aren't
Um,
different though.
they are different. They are absolutely different.
No, I'll give you an example, right? If
No,
chapter
no,
one,
hang on. I'm giving you. I'm just explaining this to you, so you can go look it up, and we can have another conversation about it.
I know what you're talking about, but that's I think you have like a misunderstanding of what that particularly means. I
No,
can
no,
give
no,
you an
no, no,
example,
no,
for
no, no,
instance,
no.
like
Hang on, real quick. It's because literally, if you line these up, in some cases, the word order's different. Um, there's some. It's a variation. It's not enough to really change the meaning, but it's enough that you can literally have seven different versions of the Quran in front of you.
no, that's again, that's what I'm saying. That's not particularly true. Like again, I
That
know Surat Al-Fatiha by heart because all Muslims have to know
that
Surat Al-Fatiha
that's
by heart in order to
absolutely
pray.
that's
So
absolutely true. What I just said.
no, it's not. I'll recite Surat Al-Fatiha
I'm
right
gonna
now.
find no. I'm gonna find the article and then
I
I can send it to you and you can read it because it's actually
I'm gonna
from.
speak the Arabic to you right now because I know Surat Al-Fatiha by heart, and I'll explain
And I
the.
hold on. I 1 second. I know what you're about to recite, and I know the assertion that it can be found in all the books. But the problem is that's not the part that's different in the books. So you can go and you can run and you can recite this,
Would you let me
but there's
finish?
other parts.
Would you let me finish
Well, I'm just
so I
telling
can
you, like,
explain?
I'm just saying you don't have to recite it because I've heard this argument before, and I
I don't
know that
think you know
you're
what I'm gonna. How would you know what I'm gonna say before I even say it?
because the claim and the assertion that's made, which I think is true for this particular part, that there's no difference between what you're about to recite and all the other Qurans.
I,
But there are
you don't know
parts
what
that are
you.
different.
That's not the argument that I was about to make.
Okay, I will see what argument you're going to make, but if it
Yeah,
comes close to this, then you and I are going to have some words. I don't want it to be mean or I don't want it to be bad.
I mean you could be mean. I really don't care.
But I'm just
But
saying,
I'm just saying
because
but
I'm just saying
but
because
let's
I
be
sense
honest.
maybe we're going a bit of dishonesty. So I want to stress that if you make that argument and
So
you
are you gonna
say
let
that
me finish?
I'm just saying, just I want to be clear.
I understand.
If
So just
I
let me.
state, hold on, no,
Can I
no,
recite Surah Al Fatiha?
1 second, please. What I'm saying
I
is
just
that
want to recite it
if
twice. That's it.
hang on, what I'm saying is that if you then after reciting this just repeat the words, it's the same in all seven, and you ignore the point I made, then I know that you're not wanting to hear me and you're not wanting to have a conversation.
No, again, how the hafs work? It's there's separate different ways. There are separate different what's it called? There are separate because when the Quran was revealed is was revealed in different dialects. Now recite it, and when I recite Surah Al Fatiha, some words in Arabic can be read with multiple different meanings. So, for instance, if I Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin, إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. So that's the opening of the Quran. So if you were to read the lines Maliki Yawmiddin, there's two ways to recite those qira'ah. You can say Maliki Yawmiddin or you can say Maliki Yawmiddin, but it doesn't change the meaning of the overall statement. So Maliki Yawmiddin, if you say it like that, means King of the Day of Judgment. If you say Maliki Yawmiddin, it means owner of the Day of Judgment. Does that really change the meaning or the overall message of what Allah is trying to say?
See, this is what I was talking about.
Just those two qira'at,
This is what I was
does that
talking
change
about a minute
anything?
ago. This is what I was just talking about a minute ago. And I clearly said to you that the seven different modes don't
They're
really
called
change
qira'at.
the
They're called qira'at.
modes. Modes is the way that it's at least best referred to in English. That's I've talked to a Jazz and a few others who are really good on this, and they say it's better to describe it as modes instead of dialects because dialects oversimplifies the issue. And so modes is better because now this paper or this link that I just sent up there, If you go to the website, it says the origins of the variant readings of the Quran. And this will talk about all of it. It'll talk about the Prophet teaching multiple recitations, meaning that the recitations are different, but they're all considered one Quran. So I'm not
Yes,
strawmanning your
because
position, but
yeah,
it is
because
different.
because words in the Quran have different meaning. Like if you were to say the word ruh, ruh can mean spirit or it can mean wind. You know what I'm saying? They have different. You can use the same character or the same word, but have different meanings. Ruh has multiple meanings. Malik has different meanings. It doesn't change the overall message. It just depends on how you read it in the particular context. For instance, like if you say uh 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 salah, it can from a Muslim, from a human to God perspective, it means giving worship or praying to God. But when Allah says He sends His but from the opposite perspective, from God's perspective, He's sending blessings. So it's just different. It's just a different way to read the Quran. You know what I'm saying? Because the words have different meanings. But it's the but at the same time, you can't. There are different Qurans. It's the same. 114
No,
chapters,
they're
divided into
different.
30 parts. 114 chapters
No,
divided into
they're
parts.
different.
You can't deny that.
No, no, they're different.
That's a
It's
lie.
very no. It's very clear that if
So
you
you can find a Quran that's more than 114 chapters, 30
you can
juz.
you can actually find one early Muslim had 116 in his
That's
Quran.
where I don't say one early
One
Muslim. I need a name. I
one
need a name in a
early.
year. I need a name in a year.
Are you not familiar with the early history of Islam?
No, because
Let me pull this.
I think you're
Let me
lying now.
let me pull this up because there was
Do you have
differences
a
within the
name? Do you have
collection.
a year?
I'm working to pull it up for you. Go to that link too that I put up there. And so the issue though is I'm granting that you're trying to say that all of these seven different Qurans that you could put in front of me are one Quran. But the issue and my point exactly is that if you open them up, the seven different Qurans are going to be written differently in parts and they're going to read differently in parts. We're not arguing if it changes the overall meaning of the text. So that's my assertion and that's my claim. I'm conceding if you want to say these seven different books are all one Quran.
What are you wait, what are you trying to say right now? Uh,
You're
all to
breaking up a little.
mass, and it's divided into 30 parts. Even there's no Muslim on the planet that will deny this. Like every Sunni, Shia, Sufi, Ahmadi, Ismaili, it doesn't matter what sect you pick. Every Muslim on the face of the planet reads the same Quran, and this is just, you can't deny that.
No, we just established.
No, you just established. No Muslim scholar,
If
no
you
layman, no
no
Muslim on the face of the planet agrees with this.
no, you're being very deceptive right now. Let's stick to very clear to the points. What did I say? What was my assertions? Try to steelman my position so that I know you
You
were
said there were
following
several
along.
different modes, and I don't think you know what the qira'ah of the Quran, what that actually means, what the different recitations and the different tajweeds, what that implies.
I don't think you're steelmanning my position like I asked you to. If I was to steelman your position, what you're trying to say is that it's just different dialects and it's all pronouncing the same thing, and therefore it is the same thing. That's your position. My position is that not only is it read the same, or sorry, is it read differently, it's written differently, and you can actually go and look at seven different hard copies of the Quran in front of you. Now, I'm conceding that the Islamic position is that all seven of those are one Quran. But if you pretend, for the sake of the argument, that there is not seven different books you could put in front of you that wouldn't have things that read differently or that wouldn't have things that are worded differently, then there's a problem. That's where we're talking about intellectual honesty. You can tell me that, hey, it's there, but I believe it's all one Quran. That's fine, but you can't say it's not there.
So there are 7 dialects and 10 qira'ah. That's what I'm trying to say. And I think you're being dishonest by
Well,
saying
I
that
didn't
this isn't
even get
how it
into the
is.
I didn't even get into the 10 Qur'an yet, because that could split the Quran into where we're talking about closer to 22.
That
And
that
you
I
can
don't think.
go online and you can look that up. These are some very clear things. And the issue though is that you
Do
can't
you
take
do
this.
you know Arabic at all? I'm a
See, this is
layman in Arabic, and I at
see
least
this is
know.
the classic dodge. It happens all the time. When I bring you a clear challenge, a clear issue, I'm being very clear in my
It would. I mean,
statements.
I feel like it would help your claim
You run.
if you could read these different Quran
You,
in the original language. If you could show me the differences and read them to me out loud, that would be I would be impressed and I would concede.
it would absolutely be great if I could read Arabic. Now I can't read Arabic, but
What could you
not
get
reading
someone who
Arabic.
could? Could you get someone who could?
Well, that's what I'm telling you. Take a note from that video up there. Go online, research it, follow me, and then all I'm asking for you to do when you come back and concede is not that you're conceding that the Quran is false, not that you're conceding that Muhammad is not a prophet, but I think what you will concede is you will come back and you will say, James, yes, there are 7 different books that are all Quran that I can pick up and have different spelling in them. I honestly think that's what you're going to come back and say.
No, I don't think I'm gonna do that.
So you don't think as they're writing the different haruf and they're actually writing it so that somebody can pronounce it. You don't believe that they actually wrote any of this differently.
Well, I just gave you an example with Surah Al-Fatiha and the example of how the word ruh could be translated in multiple different ways.
All right, I'm
I gave you 2 examples just
I,
right off the top. I'm not saying I'm a scholar, but I at least know the basics.
no, you don't know the basics if you're dodging this question.
How did I dodge the question?
You are literally seeing the point right in front of you, and instead of recognizing it, you are ignoring it, and you're trying to say that you couldn't actually physically have in your hand 7 different Qurans.
That's what you said. You said there are 7 different Qurans, and that's false. Every Quran is the same. It's the same message. Like
No,
if someone in Indonesia were to
pause.
read Surah Al-Baqarah from start to finish, it would be the exact same as if somebody in
Pause.
Egypt were to recite Surah Al-Baqarah from start to finish if they're a Qari.
Here, did you just hear what you said?
Yeah, yeah.
That same message. I've never disputed that you're not claiming that all of them together make up the Quran. I'm not disputing that at all. That
Are you
wasn't
saying that there are 7 different translations? What are you saying?
they're not translations. They can't be translations. These are actual Arabic. These are modes that if you go to the Hadith, it says in an authentic Hadith that Allah sent
Could you
Muhammad.
find me the hadith?
Well, I'm trying to get you this video for the modes. Like, I'm just shocked that you don't know some of these things and that you won't just.
No, it's not that I don't know these things, but I just want you to bring evidence to the table instead of just saying what you're saying. I'm asking you to bring forth factual evidence
I, I'm
from
actually,
first hand Islamic sources.
I'm asking you to be intellectually honest and address this with
I'm
a.
not being honest by asking you for sources so I can educate myself.
It's not about asking for sources, because that's fine and we can talk about sources. But the fact that I'm sitting here and I'm telling you, and you're even agreeing that there are different ways to pronounce things in the Quran, and there are 7 different modes or dialects, if you prefer dialect, but dialect cheapens what a mode is. And if you want that to be your position, that's fine. But if you are trying to tell me that you can't have 7 different, Mom needs you to get ready to go, buddy. If you're telling me that you can't find 7 different copies of the Quran in hard copy that have people reciting these things in slightly differing ways, I just don't know how I can help you, because that is a level of intellectual dishonesty that I
What
just
do you
can't.
mean reciting them in what are you I'm confused about what you're saying.
I
Could you
just
bring me the hadith?
I just
Could
sent you.
you said there's an authentic hadith? That's a bold claim. Could you find me that hadith, please?
So you've never heard of the hadith that talks about 7 modes?
Could you bring it forward?
All right, I will do your homework for you, and I will.
I mean, the burden of proof is on you. You're the one who made the claim.
No, I made a statement that's factual. You even agree that
Could you
there's.
provide the evidence for your factual statement?
Don't interrupt me. You made a claim, and you agreed with me that there was 7 different modes, 7 different huruf, or 7 different dialects, however you want to put it.
Can I get some Kool-Aid?
Yes, but you gotta ask mom because she's got to take you to go, buddy. Um, I'm shocked. I don't know what to say because you're literally agreeing and then you're trying not to
Do you
agree.
know what a dialect is? I'm just curious. Because I can speak English. I can speak Patois, that's Jamaican English, and then read Shakespeare as a Jamaican speaking person, and it wouldn't be any different than someone who speaks in an English dialect, and it wouldn't be any different than someone reading Shakespeare in an American English dialect. It would be the same thing as
No,
someone.
no, that's not the case because these are actually considered Quran. The English translation of the Quran that I
I
have
never
is.
said the English translation of the Quran. I was saying
Hold on.
English in reference to Shakespeare
No, I'm
and
trying to.
how different people read dialects in English.
No, I'm trying to explain to you why it's not the same as dialect and why mode fits better. Because if you say just a different dialect or a different way to pronounce the Quran, then you're conceding that the transliteration of the English Quran I have in my house is the Quran. But it's not the Quran. It's considered a transliteration.
Yeah, I agree. Transliteration isn't the same thing as the Quran. Same
But
same with the translation. Translations are not the same.
but the 7 different Qurans are not transliterations. They're considered Quran.
Claim they lie riding, but I know that they ain't. Ride or die. I go hard in the paint, yeah, homie, I'm a saint. Ride or